Intro challenge today. Welcome back. This is the best 15 good minutes with Hey Guy. Hey, Auntie. We have Auntie Denise here with us back again. Charles in the building.
If you don't know, Charles is our movie expert.
To his right, my right, we have Amanda, and to my left we have who's going about through the bag. Yeah, there you go. We got Thusi in the building. We got Thusi. This is part one of our Black Panther movie series. There we go.
Get ready.
So, has everyone seen the movie?
Yes.
Yes? Everyone seen it?
Yes.
If you haven't seen it at home,
turn it off
turn
right
this
now.
off. Just,
Spoiler alert. Alert!
there you go.
Because we're going to be doing some talking today.
Definitely. We're going to get it all the way into this one here. Thoughts on it?
Well, first, wait. How many times have you seen it?
Dos.
Twice, yes.
Everybody?
1.5.
1.5? 1.5? How'd you see it 1.5?
Well, I like to get 2 movies for the price of 1. So I was
okay.
ready for
Oh,
one to start,
Lord.
so I watched half of it, and then when it was time for my movie to start, I
You dipped out.
dipped out.
Okay.
As Chris
1.5.
Rock said, shoot a bootlegger. Shoot me a bootlegger, y'all.
Okay. So we've all seen that. So we're pretty in depth. We're knowledgeable about the movie. All right, we're cool
Absolutely.
then. All right. Before we talk to everybody else, I want to know, out of 4 stars, what would you give it?
Get that Mama Jamma 5 of them blickies.
Me too. Okay. What about y'all?
If you go with 4 stars, probably 3.75.
3.75.
You know, that's the movie critic right
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
You
So
got
I'm gonna
Cisco.
get back to that. What about you?
No, I'm at a 4-star.
4?
Yes, complete.
I'll give it a 5.95.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I give it 4.
Yeah.
4.
Well, Charles, you got some
Charles.
explaining to do. I'm going to
Yeah, let's just start with you, Charles.
Let's
This
start
movie
there.
critic. Why 3.75?
Oh, that was a good story. The story was very, very good. Some of the stuff that I had just some problems with was some of the cinematography that was in there.
Okay, so like what?
Some of the fight scenes, right? Some of them, a little bit too close, right? You really couldn't see the action like really, really good. All right. So, but other than that, it was a really, really
So
outstanding movie.
you took that 0.25 away because of cinematography?
Cinematography is very important in a movie.
Yeah, I'm not saying nothing wrong with it, but that's what
really, and then this when you talk about the story, right? It wasn't anything that was really shocking in the story. Like
you
at the
thought it was
end,
predictable.
all right, it was.
Okay.
It was sort of, but very well written, very well written.
Okay.
So
Why did y'all give it 4 or 5.999?
You want to go first?
Oh, okay. I give it a 4 because, I'm not the comic book expert on the panel. When the movie came out, I knew I was going to see it because of the black beauty of the cast. I love a movie with us, beautiful us. So I knew right then I was going to go see it. So once I saw the movie, and I was just overwhelmed. I mean, with the women, the men, the empowerment of the women, the strength of the women. I was just floored. And that's why I give it a 4. The whole comic book element came. I was trying to catch up and follow along with the whole storyline, but I was just mesmerized by just seeing us represented in such a beautiful way.
Right.
So it gave you all a good feel.
It did.
So I want you to hold those feelings
I will.
about that right there. Yes.
Wakanda.
Wakanda forever.
I will.
Because in part 2, we're going to get into that feeling that gave you.
All right.
All right? So we're going to shoot this over to Amanda. We're going to talk across. Tell us what you think. Why'd you give it what you gave it?
My favorite part was kind of what Miss Denise was talking about the representation of the Black culture as a whole, not so much just what we see today on reality TV and, you know, kind of other movies that portray us as victim roles. So for me, my biggest thing was seeing the strength of Black people, the diversity that even in the Black community we have about our opinions, you know, the background we come from, you know, how we view different views, or how we view different topics, that we don't all think the same way. That was my biggest thing I took away from it, and I loved it.
So we got some fans that were looking at the art of movie making, right? And then we have those that are those deep thinkers, the women. Hey,
Well, you can't say just
Hey,
women.
this is what we do. This is what we
I had some deep thoughts about the movie.
Put it toss his live over here to Deucey. You want some other stuff. Y'all see this? I don't even know who you are.
This is what
You
we
acting
did.
different. You acting totally different. Go ahead, bro.
Well,
Already.
I mean, the reason I gave it the rating that I gave it was because when I watch a lot of movies today, I feel as though there's a lot of hidden messages in anything that we watch. And you know, I'm always a fan of anything that goes into your eyes, that you see with your eyes, has an influence on you, whether it be negative or positive. So I kind of caught a lot of the symbolism that was in the movie that the two ladies at the panel spoke of, which is the empowerment of women. A lot of the times in our culture, and not even in our culture, just in society, you hear people talk as women as referenced as the weaker vessel. You know, and you can never define why we say they're weak. We try to say, oh, because you're emotional or you're not as strong as a man. But when you watch the movie, the king in the movie was protected by all women. See what I'm saying? And then in the fight scenes in the movie towards the end, you see a whole group of men fighting, you know, and women, you know, fighting against these men. And then like a small scene which you may not pay much attention to, but you have this rhino, this huge rhino at the end, you know, charging towards these people, and who steps in between it? A female. You know, a woman steps in between and gets at the Hulk. And then you have that man who, you know, is portrayed as her spouse or her mate, you know, and he looks around and says, you know, who are you going to be more loyal to? You know, and we try, and men, we're big on loyalty, you know, so she's loyal to her king, you know, and not in the aspect where you may be thinking of, you know, that's supposed to be her husband, but really when you think about it, like, you know, my king is my husband. So she's loyal to her king. And he, you know, submits to that.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? So that's like the symbolism that I caught in the movie, which was kind of, you know, I thought a lot of it went over a lot of people's head that may not pay attention to that, but I pay attention to those small details.
So we got a mixture of takeaways that made the 5.9999 stars, right? What do you think?
On average, you know, we brought it up to the movie was a 4 across the board, even with Charles's point.
The differential.
Well, you know what? Because I
the Russian judges over here.
because I look at the movie, I'm looking at the movie as a movie.
Right.
Right. Now, when you start getting into the meat of the movie, that's actually what really made it an outstanding movie.
And that would be that'll be the next episode.
Right. And that's what made it outstanding. But as far as just rating, because I rated it just like a movie, right? I didn't look at it. It was a black movie as a white movie. Because a lot of people that were at the exactly. A lot of people came to that movie. Right, probably hadn't been in the movies in years, right? Especially a lot of black people, right, Rusty?
Yeah.
Bang bang, shots fired.
And so,
Hashtag
but I'm trying to say, and they came to that movie just because it was a black movie, all right? And my rating was based on
face value,
just off the face
and
value, because it was a great movie. It was a great movie. It was, and the artwork of it was fantastic. You know, it's been very rarely that you actually see a movie that if you rating 4 out of 4, they actually get 4 stars. Right? It's not common. Right? It's not common.
So you brought up the cinematography of, you know, them fighting and the scenes were too close. I like that part. That was more, for me, that was more intense. Like I was up just in it. You can see their movements, and you notice like the actors, they use capoeira and they use all different types of art forms, and you could actually see those movements a little bit better, closer up.
Well, so I thought when Okoye, when they had the fight scene of her in the bar, in the club, all right, I thought that was just you couldn't really get a feel of how strong and dominant she really was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, when they got out on the street in
it
South
was all
Korea,
open. Right.
girlfriend was no joke, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I wanted to see that more, that strongness of her, right? Because she played such a strong character, right? And I thought that in that particular scene, you kind of lost that, right? But it made up.
Fair enough.
They made up down the line.
Down the line.
Oh yeah.
Because like when M'Baku and T'Challa were fighting in the water, that was like wonderful. Like I thought.
Oh, well, that was
I'm like, because it was in the open air.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
So
she.
I saw the movie twice, right? And I saw it 3D,
I was
and
gonna ask
I
next.
saw it,
Yeah.
I saw it in 2D, right? I saw the regular way, right? The 3D, the second.
That was his half.
That was
3D
his
That was his
half.
half. His
That
3D
wait,
was
time out.
half.
Wait. Keep your thought. And when you seen 3D, did you have the glasses? How did you do
What
that?
I was saying is I should have snuck into the
Oh.
Oh.
I was about to say, how did that work?
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
It's in the trash, but look, I'm not. That's another.
So the 3D, in my personal opinion, wasn't as good
Oh, really?
as the 2D.
Yeah.
The 2D,
Did you
right?
see it in? Did you see it in X? What is it?
Oh, IMAX.
IMAX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's how I seen it.
Saw
Okay.
it, saw it in
Okay.
IMAX, saw it in 3D. The 3D, there was so much going on. Like you would have probably, you wouldn't have liked it at
In the
all.
3D one.
In the 3D, because it was so much going on. Because like you said, it was so close. Like everything was coming
okay.
at you. It was like, if you ever seen Jurassic Park
In 3D.
in
Not
3D,
in 3D, but
like certain things jumped out at
Oh,
you.
yeah.
But in the 3D of Black Panther, everything
Right.
kind of jumped out at you.
So it was just too much like
Too much.
stimuli.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. What would you say as far as like characters? Like,
Who was my favorite character?
who was your favorite character?
Killmonger would be. I'm more team Killmonger than anything.
Okay.
And that goes back to the same point of the symbolism. Like when you study the movie points, it was no shock to me that when I started to see who these characters kind of modeled their character after. If you look at Chadwick Boseman, who played the Black Panther, he studied people like Nelson Mandela. You know, he looked at people like that. But when you look at Killmonger, he studied people like Malcolm X, Tupac. You know what I'm saying? So you can see, like, you know, they have
The militant.
the
Right.
militant, and why? Because you know, I think did you study the comics?
I'm pretty in depth.
Pretty. Correct me if I'm wrong. When this comic was written, it was written from a Malcolm and Martin perspective.
What you call it will not say a claim to that, and he didn't link that to the Black Panther militant group.
But if you
so
look at what Stanley does, he always puts that.
he does.
He always puts that social thing. Always
He does.
is
And
embedded
that's-
into
that's
Marvel
kinda why I
characters.
was more Team Killmonger because it's when you look at it. If you looked at it from a Malcolm and a Martin perspective, you know, the Black Panther would be more of your Martin because he's more calm. He's more do things a peaceful way. Let's help everybody. You know, where Malcolm was from that. No, let's help our people. Like, let's help ourselves first. And you know, and when you look at Killmonger's character, he was basically shaped from his experiences from society. Like he was brought up in our society. He was a single parent. Like his father was killed. You know, and he had to grow up hard. So his idea was like I've been around the world. I've seen how our people were treated around the world. So I want to help our people.
Right.
Whereas and he's looked at as what? Oh, he's a threat.
Threat,
You
right.
can't have no king like that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's hard to deal with a person like that.
But-
Man.
Oh,
sorry.
I was going piggyback off of you, and then I do want to hear you guys' favorite characters. I'm excited. This is so great. But because you said Killmonger was yours, to everybody at the table, how do you feel about Killmonger? Did you think he was a bad character or
Was he a
evil villain? You
Super
know,
villain? Was he a super villain?
or was he just somebody like Matt said, like, oh, I blew it. I forgot your pseudo name. Okay. 2 S's. But was he just a product of his environment? So what do y'all think?
Absolutely. He's a product
He-
of his environment. Absolutely. And so is T'Challa. And that's why I think that it's kind of like the dynamic in the Black culture. It's like, you know, people who grow up in the quote unquote ghetto, you know, are a product of their environment, and so are Black kids who grow up in the suburbia.
Right.
They're a product of their environment. So they don't ever cross that line either way. And so the kid in the suburbs doesn't understand the kid in the hood's point of view. Right. So it's the same thing. And so it's like T'Challa, he grew up in Wakanda knowing, we protect our, our own. We have these things. We don't want people to come in and know what we have, and you can also relate that to the upper echelon of Black people now too. They don't really reach back out to the neighborhoods as much as they should, with different programs or different things like that, as much as people in the hood feel like they should. Yeah.
Hold on to that. Hold on to that. Hold on to that. Hold on to that for the second.
Okay.
Who was your favorite character?
Definitely Nakia. Definitely.
Okay.
No.
Nakia, go ahead.
The main reason why I loved her character so much was because she was not pressed to become his woman or to become the queen, because she felt like her vision and what she wanted for her own life was bigger than just to marry somebody and be somebody's wife. And I think that as a woman in society, people do you agree with me?
I agree. That's why I'm holding the women up. Like,
you're doing too much today.
No, you hating.
But no, you asked me.
I'm trying to
So you asked me why, and that is why. Because in society as women, I think the stereotype is that we just want to be somebody's wife, somebody's mother, that is the utmost of importance. And Nakia, it wasn't. She had the chance to be a queen. And she basically turned that down because she knew that the dreams that she had for her own life, things that she wanted to accomplish for herself, were bigger than to be a queen or somebody's wife. That is huge.
And the reason why I like Nakia is because she was so self-possessed. Like, what did she say? I mean, I would be a great queen if I wanted to. Like,
right.
She knew she had everything within her to be the
she
queen
could
of Wakanda.
Be that.
But she's like, I don't want that. I want to help people that need help, And I like her just because I'm community oriented. So I'm like, this is me. That's me in Wakanda. That's me.
Come on,
no,
Nakia.
Yeah, it was just like, she was self-possessed. She had her own purpose and her own vision. And T'Challa, and nobody can deviate her from that plan. So that's what
he had to step his game up if he wanted to be with her. He had to figure out a way. If you want to be with her, these are her requirements. And she's saying, I cannot be with you if I can't do this. And here he goes. Now he got the little spaceship in the hood. For her. Yeah, for the community. For her. So, yeah.
And even, like, he was always starstruck by her. Remember in the opening scene?
Absolutely.
When they were like,
I never freeze.
Don't freeze. Because she's amazing. Like, she's a boss. She's a boss.
So, yeah, my favorite.
Hey, Auntie.
Hey.
Who was your favorite character?
Nikita.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm a Lupita fan anyway. So when I found out, everything she did to prepare for the film, all of the martial arts and judo and everything that she took to be strong for the movie to play her part, I'm like waiting for her to kick somebody's butt. Like, you prepare, I want to see you kick somebody's butt. She delivered. And going back to what Amanda and Shai said about her not being pressed, in the beginning when, they told T'Challa, don't freeze, and he froze, she wasn't sweating him. At no point in the movie did she sweat him. So that seed was planted from the beginning.
She looked like she was sweating when he kissed her.
So with that seed being planted, she went on about her business, doing what she had to do for the country, doing what she had to do for him to protect Wakanda and all of that. But at no point did she get starry-eyed and like, oh, well, you're the king and everything. I take it back. I really want to be with you.
That's right.
He had, like you said, he had to step up his game. If you want to be with me, this is what I require.
That's right.
This is what I require, and that's why at the end he ended up at the UN talking about, oh yes, now we'll open everything up, and everybody,
he wouldn't have
the
done
whole world
that's
is
right.
on this.
Hold on, we're gonna reel this back in real quick.
That's
so
right.
That's
right.
why I liked it, for her strength as a person, as an actress. She put in the work to do that role, and she did it very well. And then her character was not, she wasn't a victim. She wasn't,
She wasn't a damsel.
She wasn't,
But even
and she
when-
wasn't independent.
Exactly.
Even when they thought T'Challa died, what did she do? She didn't
She
war.
took action.
Now,
She took
she
action.
went,
Yeah.
got Shuri, got
Yeah.
Mama out, and was like, "We gonna go to Mbaku."
We ain't got the
So what
flower.
you're gonna say
Yeah.
is you're just gonna totally glance over that. Oh, I don't want to be a queen right now, but you wouldn't stow that flower because I can't let my king die because I got to marry that man someday.
It
No,
wasn't.
it's not. But at that point, they thought he was dead.
Right.
At that point, they thought he was dead.
You need
So
to preserve it for the next king.
She reserved that for the next person.
It was the legacy that needed to be kept. She wasn't thinking nothing about no love. She was thinking about the legacy of Wakanda.
That's
what
right.
she was. That's why she took the plan.
She was protecting the culture.
The culture.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because
She was
Killmonger
going
was
for it.
burning up everything. Now look at that. Killmonger is burning up, so there wouldn't be a king. You know.
We gotta get Charles. We gotta get Charles' favorite character, and I still gotta get
He's over here quiet. I'm not
mad.
used to Charles being quiet, y'all.
He over here shaking.
Y'all said I talked too much last time. I'm trying to be a listener.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Okoye. She was first. She was frightening. she
ain't
was
play no
her.
games.
She
Yes.
her the character that she. But you saw a soft side of her. All right. She was a loyalist. And even as a loyalist, you do get to change your mind. And she did.
All right, Charles.
But those are the things I liked about Okoye. And then she just scared the living daylights out of me. I'm telling you right now, girl, I was like, yes, ma'am. Whatever you want me to do.
Right. She was hardcore.
Yeah, she was.
My favorite character was T'Challa.
Okay.
It takes a truly strong individual to be not only be respectful of your past, your heritage, and your elders, but to be able to define and correct the course of where you see something go wrong. And that's like a huge problem throughout. Now, and I'm gonna keep it with the movie right now, but it's hard. Like, you see your dad, like in any movie where there's a father and a son and there's a king, it's hard for most sons to step away from and out of that shadow of their dad and be something different. And be better than, and like step away from like the things of the past. He saw error in his father's ways. He got an opportunity to bring it to his father's attention when he went back. He corrected the elders, and we went on. You know what I'm saying? He went back, and with the the ending scene, well, towards the end, with him and Chakata, right?
Well, you talking about his father?
No,
dad?
Killmonger's. Well,
Killmonger.
Eric Killmonger Stevens, but his real name,
No.
like, well, his name within the
Jakata.
Yeah.
Right. So like, even with that, like, he was so much at war with him on his different stance, but as he came back, you know what? I can't fight you like this because we're the same. We are, you know what I'm saying? You're from here. We're a family. I can't tear you down. And to build up everything, I have to build you up as well as build up everything around me. And that right there, hats off to Chad Boseman for killing that role. But you already know I rock with Chad.
Did you catch?
Everything else.
Did you catch I caught it in the second go round. That when he was asking his father, "Will I be a good king?" and his father told him, "It's hard for a good man to be a king."
Be a good
king.
man to be a good king. Yes.
I caught that, and he was right in what he replied. No, it's not. I feel like you're one and the same.
I think that
And it takes a good man to be a good king, to say, just because wearing a crown doesn't make you a good king.
Well, I think at that time, what you brought up is that his father was basically saying the sins that he had made, on the mistakes that he had made being a king, and he knew how his son was.
Did y'all notice? Let's just talk about the art form just for a second. Did you notice the difference in the acting between Michael B. Jordan and the rest of the cast?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
How he was more raw.
Yeah,
Would that be the word?
His persona was urban. That was his character.
But I
I
felt
mean the technique of his acting. So this is what I'm thinking of, because he hasn't received any formal education or training in acting. He just pretty much started just getting in movies and on screen time. While the rest of the cast, they've been to, academies and studied the art form. I noticed that there was a difference in how Lupita and both Chadwick kind of, their technique compared to him. He was more, I would say raw. He was more raw, which it didn't take away from his part. I'm not saying that, but you could see the difference. You can see the difference.
I definitely agree with you. I think when I left the movie, I left feeling like somebody else could have played that role.
Yeah.
And nobody else in the movie did I feel that way about. Did I feel like he did a bad job? No. But I felt like he didn't stand out enough to say that was his role. Like, when they cast him for that role, they did a good job. Like, I could say that about Chadwick. Like, he, when they cast Black Panther, he did a good job. But with him, I felt maybe raw is the right word. It just, I don't know why it didn't fit. It just didn't fit with the other acting to me.
Well,
I see your point. And I think because his character had an urban edge, that rawness, you saw it more. I kind of felt the same way too. As, I'm sitting there and I'm like, you could do that. You could come at that line a little bit harder, or you could say that with a little more feeling, or if he had more lines in the movie, you could have seen him evolve a little bit more. But if he hasn't had formal training, and not every actor has had formal training, some just come out of the box like, wow, like where did you study? Yeah, like Samuel Jackson. What are you doing? But I get what you're saying, and maybe the director realizing that you are the least accomplished, if you will, we're going to give you this urban flair, and maybe you have a certain comfort level with your own acting.
Okay, so I'm gonna put another spin on this. All right.
I just got real quick before you get into that. The line. Let me just read this off to you. Just bury me in the ocean with my ancestors that jumped from the ships because they knew death was better than bondage.
That's the writer, though.
He didn't make that.
But he gave that. He delivered that, though.
I would never know.
See, I didn't feel that way. I felt like when he said the line, it was kind of like forced. Like, just bury me in the ocean.
Yeah.
With my hands.
Okay, so now
remember,
y'all, a lot of y'all gave this movie a 4.
It gave it a 4 for different reasons.
Right. And Michael B. Jordan's role in this is critical.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, literally, he's the anti-hero or the antagonist in this film. So basically, knowing some of the background of how the original story. The director, he was fantastic. I just thought that he basically, how he changed the movie and how he fitted Michael B. Jordan in there, I thought that it was great. Honestly, I think the guy should definitely be put up for Best Supporting Actor for that role.
Glad you said that. So quick yes or no. That's all I need. Quick yes or no. Is this an Academy? Are we getting an Oscar? No Golden Globe.
Wait, for the movie?
For the movie and the characters in it. So we got best male lead, supporting, all of these things. Is it Oscar worthy? Yes or no?
Yes.
I can't answer that
It's
question.
yes or no?
I can't answer that question without saying something.
Always playing. Yes or no?
You gotta have more content.
I'm going to say yes.
Thank you. That's a yes. Yes.
Oscar worthy for acting? Is that what your question is?
Just getting
the movie, period. Getting an Oscar of some sort. Oh, absolutely.
I might as well go kill Killmonger here and just rebel against what you're talking about. I don't know. I need more content to say yes or no.
There was nothing in the movie that was worth an Oscar. Yes or no?
You can even think about like the
director,
the directing and the
cinematography.
Don't fall to the peer pressure.
I'm just giving. He said he needed more context.
I need more context to answer.
Well, you couldn't just say no.
I don't know. I'm on the fence.
You ain't no fence.
Okay, so
no fence in here. Yes or no?
But you know what? In the movie. Okay, so the movie. Okay, so let me give you some context. So in the movie right here, you're gonna get some. They're going to win some Academy
Yeah.
Awards. You got Rachel Morrison, who actually did the cinematography for this. I think that she did a very, very good job.
So
Right.
I'll change my stance because
okay.
based on the symbolism that I explained that was
Right.
in there, and how they display the characters and empowerment of women, which I have noticed during this whole thing that women have, you all have not shouted out anything the men have done.
Listen, just
You'll
yes or no?
get to it. No,
Yes
you're
or
gonna
no?
get
Yes or no?
Next,
Okay, I'm gonna say
next show. I'm
yes,
all
it
for the
was
men.
Yes.
Oscar worthy.
All right, so here, from 15 good minutes, it gets an Oscar. Part 1, y'all. So, make sure you tune in to part 2. Then you'll say it in part 2. This is us. Signing out. K-Dot.